Hello, how are you guys doing? Hopefully Friday is treating you well. Not up terribly much today so far. Well, actually I was working on sub-squares to see where the heck I was at. Which, basically now that we have orange color, I basically have to make all the ones that orange that I hadn't made, which were like 6 of them, so that's done. And I'm slowly trying to like hedge my way back to about where I think I am. So we'll see. I know it's definitely more than 30 I need to do now, but good problems to have, I guess. Although I swear I think I might just get rid of the extra bonus sub-square thing for a little while. Until I catch up, maybe. Although that hasn't been happening terribly often, so I might just leave it alone. But yes, oh, I didn't pick up a needle or scissors. Actually, no, I don't need the scissors right now. But I'll probably need it in a little bit, so I'll definitely have to make sure to pick those up. So I'm gonna be starting with something a wee bit different. I'm gonna be doing Hexipuff, which that's why I need the needle. I need to weave in the top part once I stuff the top here. There it is. I knew I had it nearby-ish, but I wasn't sure where I had it. Which you would think I'd know better by now, but I don't. Alright, so... Alright. And stuff this and weave in the ends, and then start another one. So... It's probably gonna be this for the first hour. Give or take. But yeah, I'm slowly but surely, definitely running out of colors to do non-repeats of. Although, I know I have at least a couple of hand spun and such, so I doubt I'll be done anytime soon. But we're definitely getting there. Alright. So, which one of these do I want? No, I don't need this one. I need the regular size ones. One of them. There are pros and cons to just keeping all of these needles in here. One, I know where it is. Two, if I can't find that, I can't find all of them. Which is very inconvenient. Come on. Take that off of there. I was thinking about doing more of the dish towel, but given, that's essentially garter stitch forever, I figured that would be not terribly exciting, so... And that's also why the stream title's vague, because I wasn't sure what the heck I wanted to do. So I was just like, nah. Let's go with that. I meant to change it to something else once I decided what the heck I was doing. But too late for that. I have not made the one that I have with black yarn. So that's gonna be an adventure. I'm gonna need to do that during the day, or else it's gonna be real hard to see what the heck I'm doing, especially once it comes to weaving in ends. Just because knitting with black, especially knitting with black when it's small, is essentially torture. Ba-ba-da. I like this color. I'm not sure. Well, no, that's the blue topaz I'm thinking of. That's in the discontinued category, which I should have a discontinued GIF, given how much we have to discuss discontinued yarn. Which I had the idea written in the sub book. Because it makes sense just to have any stream-related ideas in there as well to make life easier. Ba-ba-da-ba-da. It's a good thing this part is easy. Alright. Alright, so hey Caledon, how you doing? How goes your Friday? Just waiting this ends on a Hexipuff here. And then I'm gonna get started on another one. Oh, hasn't that happened? Oh fuck. Nope. I was like, I'll just do the thing. I'll be fine. Nope, I very much need you to get back on the needles. Because this would be a pain in the ass otherwise. Ba-ba-dum-ba-dum. Ah, crap. Okay, you, and you. I need all three of you to stay on the godforsaken needle. Look, I'm not too long waiting on some orders. Yay! Funny enough, I have an Amazon order coming in, which I'm not sure if it's going to show up during stream or not. Honestly, not too many exciting things. The main thing, at least stream-related, is just to have some envelopes for, you know, stickers and such. Alright, and then almost there. Yep, and now we're good. Although it feels like that one's split. Ta-da! Alright. So... Ooh, stroopwafels! I found out about those, what was it, last year, Sock Madness? Yeah, that was the first time I did it. So that would make sense. I still haven't tried those, but those are very, very, very good. From what I've heard. So definitely good luck on eating them in moderation. Because that can be a challenge. Alright, so now I have this Hexipuff done. I'm gonna cast down another one. Which, let me do this here. Which this is some hand spun. Which this is actually hand spun from that shawl that I've relegated to off stream status for right now. Which this is not the yarn that was on there. This is like a little extra bit. Which this is probably not going to use too much, so I should be fine just in case I need to use this on the shawl. I don't think I should, but who knows. What kind of flavor of stroopwafels did you get? Because I know there's at least a couple, if memory serves. Oh, so I'm not sure if this is going to need less dishes or not, because I'm not sure if this is... Yeah, if I recall, this is my first time spinning silk, because this has 20% silk, 80%, what is it? Merino? New Zealand Merino or something along those lines? Something's not mistaken. Ooh, caramel vanilla. You can definitely not go wrong with that flavor profile. So yeah, definitely good luck on not eating them all. I think that's also a reason why I've not gotten them yet, just because the whole, hey, I will probably scarf them down real quick. Alright, let's see if this is proper size. And... excuse me. Sorry about that. At least I managed to get to the mic before I sneezed. There's that at least. I really do think it's from sitting over here, which I had hoped to dust yesterday, but I did not get a chance to. Do. Come on, you can do it. There. I think there's a yeah, because I looked that up. Yeah, there's definitely a chocolate flavor as well. And I'm just like, Alright, let's see. Alright, let's see if this is... Yeah, this might be a little bit... Because sometimes my yarns are too thick, so I like to check if this is gonna be same size, so I think maybe... two, if not 3 stitches less. Yeah. Probably gonna cast on 9. So that means... yeah. 17 will probably be... Alright, so cast on 9. Which that'll mean 17. It's gonna be an odd number. Da, 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 da. Come on. There it is. Seven. 8. 9. There it is. How did that? Oh, because I have the mouse over there. That would make things slightly less annoying. Other than waiting for packages, what are you up to today? Although I know this is your day for, like, getting to tinker around with things and stuff. VR stuff as I usually do. Not one of those slide in phone models. Ooh. Which I'm guessing that's not helpful for whatever you're trying to do. Based on that face. Also, okay, that was the bot. Alright. Come on. There it is. Come on. Incredibly helpful, just very... okay. Okay. I took it as a sad face where I was sitting. But yeah, at least, yay! At least that's helpful. Also, I'm gonna do a thing. See if I can get the thing. Let's see, bots. Bot behavior, global positioning. He said size. Alright. I meant to do this off stream. But let's see if I can get this to do the thing. Because I always had the position set manually, so I'm not sure why they're off center like that. Low end VR, slide your phones in this. That's sold by flipping. Huh. Interesting. Alright, let's see. Just want to see if that'll do the job. Then why is it offside there? Because I know I didn't do that. Alright, so let me... Nope, not properties. Alright, so... That's a screen. And then, let's see. Okay. What the? I'm guessing this thing might not be large enough then, is what its problem is. Let's see. Let's see. $920. Let's see. By 1080. Let's see. If I do that, and then get that to scale filtering. Nope. Transform. Stretch the screen. And then let's see. Alright. There we go. And what the hell is its problem? Alright, cool. Sorry about that. I've been meaning to mess around with that. It must have been that that thing was not large enough to compensate for that. A dedicated RAM. Most cheap Androids just use leftover storage as a RAM. Huh. I did not know that, but also that is interesting that you managed to get that at Walmart. Was it on sale or something, or were they trying to just, you know, get rid of some excess inventory? Because that's what it sounds like. Because that's usually how you get the better stuff. As if either, you know. You know, if basically you get a good deal. I picked it up 30. Oh, okay. Alright. Oh, they're selling it for nearly double on eBay. Interesting. Also, did I pick up a... No, I did not. Why? Why? I just started knitting on autopilot like a doofus. But... luckily, could do that. Come on. There it is. Yeah, I might have done it a little tight. Literally stabbed myself in the finger. That's fun. But I'm guessing whoever was selling it, if not Walmart themselves, through like some random subsidiary, or someone knowing the quality of it, trying to make a quick buck, which is also possible. But yeah, it's interesting that's from Walmart of all places. Nope. Come on. I need you to do the thing. Given this is not nylon, it's probably not going to stretch as much, but it does have silk, so still is capable of a tiny bit of stretch, but not as much, so I'm trying to be careful not to do my stitches too tightly. But I can't have it be too loose either, or else stuffing, once this is done, is going to be coming out of here, which kind of makes doing it pointless. Come on. Also, I'm a tiny bit amused that me changing the Discord icon made people slightly bit confused. Although I probably should have forewarned. Although it's only a temporary thing, because I want to do something seasonal, so that is a thing. Plus, I do like changing the server icon. It kind of makes like a fresh change. Although, I want to see if maybe I can do the whole sticker thing. I'm not sure if I can. Maybe we'll see. Come on. There it is. Oops, don't do that. Nope, son of a bitch. Alright, come on. You get back on your goddamn needle. And let me pull this through here. One of these usually takes me like an hour from start to finish, about, if I'm sitting down and not doing anything else, maybe like listening to something. Given it's nothing really complex, it's just more of kind of keeping track if you've done like your 2 stockinette rows before you increase or decrease. Although it's slightly easier to tell for me with the decreases rather than the increases. Just because when I tend to do my increases with the make one left and the make one right, you gotta basically essentially are twisting the stitch shut, so you kind of have to look for the twisted stitch to see whether or not, hey, I did a thing here or not, essentially. Also, how are we? Well, tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow's essentially halfway through the month. How have we gotten nearly halfway through the month already? Like, where is time going? Once again. Although, this also means the year's almost over, because, you know, post-Halloween, it's Thanksgiving, Black Friday, at least in commercial-related stuff. Then, you know, the winter holidays, Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, Boxing Day for Canada right after. Alright, yeah, come on. There are. With these Hexipuffs, there are probably going to be a couple of repeats, like, the mint I did one of. I'm not sure if I'll have enough for another one, but I'm going to use that yarn because, you know, I have nothing else to use it for. And the small bits of hand spun, definitely going to be using those in there as well. Not this, because again, need this for now for the shawl, because I need to figure out where the hell I am in the shawl. I'm pretty sure I'm on the 3rd chart, but beyond that, I am not entirely sure. Which, that's one of those things where it's like, this is why you don't pick up projects and put them back down. because it makes life confusing for everyone. So I really should clean these glasses. I feel like they should clean. And also, let me check my Amazon package while I'm staring here. It's probably not gone anywhere. It's been out for delivery since 10 something, but again, yeah, from 2:15. It would be nice if it showed up, but given the time now, it's probably gonna be, if not near the end of stream, probably right after stream, I suspect. That's usually what happens. Anything that's technically supposed to get delivered around stream time, or at least this is within the window of stream, really ends up after. Plus, there's a 4-hour window anyway, so between 2:15 and 6:15. But hopefully, it'll be by about 4:15. We'll see what happens. I don't need anything in like an immediate hurry. But I did get some envelopes. Sadly, they're not purple. I'd wanted it to be purple, but honestly, I figured purple would be a bit more attention getting, which that would be also good and bad, just to avoid any, potential theft of things. So I figured brown envelopes would be fine. What else? So that and auxiliary cables, which I need those for the over-the-ears headphones, because the two that I've recently-ish gotten from eBay don't work anymore. Well, rather, it's getting weird. And this is like, what, a set of 6 of them? So, like, for $11, so a little under $2 each, which that is nice. And then some chargers for my phone. I have not need one for my tablet, but eventually I'll probably need to get a replacement. See, but I'm usually not fiddling around with my tablet when I charge it, so that's probably why that's gonna stay pretty good for a good long period of time. Although, plus I have a cable from an old phone, although given the whole, hey, there's a little thing that pops up if you use a cable that is not the same kind. And it's like, hey, you're gonna slow charge, and it's like, why? Might be different voltage, who knows? Now I stabbed my finger. That's fun. Although I've not actually stabbed my finger with one of these needles, because these are like midway in the way of sharpness, thankfully. Although I have pointier needles. Only one. Definitely pointier than these, so I tend to use them a little less often. Although I imagine when it comes to things like lace, those pointier ones are certainly going to come in pretty useful. Come on. Also, I should probably, once I finish this increase, I should probably count to see where I am. I suspect probably 15. I'm usually checking right before I need to do the last round of increases for one of these. That's typically how I do it. Also, Let me close this. I don't need that open any further, so probably stand not to do so. Also, sorry for anybody who gets motion check. I'm gonna adjust this a little bit back here, because I see myself like pulling back here right now. So in order to stay well in frame, probably best if I move the camera back just a wee bit. Come on. Ha. Alright, it's gonna be out of number, so 5, 10. Yep, I called it. 15. It's always when I'm close to being done with the increases or the decreases is when my brain's like, I should probably check just in case. And it's usually fine. Come on. But yeah, once I'm done with the increase on this one, I'm probably not gonna weave. Not the increase is done with the increasing and decreasing on this Hexipuff. Probably not gonna weave in the ends on stream for this one, just because I don't feel like it. Although I don't mind Kitchener as much as I used to, however, still not my favorite thing in the world to do, being the Kitchener stitch, although when you do it right, it just kind of cleanly meshes in, which that's the beauty of that stitch. It just cleanly meshes in like nobody's business. Although at the same time, no one should be looking that closely at your socks or whatever you're using for Kitchener, because if they're that close, they need to goddamn move. So, yeah. Come on. Let's see. Checking, but I'm pretty sure this should be my second round. It is hard to tell because the yarn's a wee bit darker in spots, making it hard to see. Oh wait, yeah, I can see that one twist in there, so... yeah, so it should be second round of increases. Well, second round of fast stockinette, and then last round of increasing. Come on, there it is. Alright, so now I'm going to increase one last time. It should be 17 stitches. Typically it's about 20, but given the flake thickness in places in this yarn, had to adjust to make sure it was, you know, essentially the same, if not about similar size to the rest of the Hexipuffs. Because sometimes my hand spun yarn can be a wee bit thick in places. Which, that's not a terrible thing, it's just more of a Just trying to get a little bit better in my consistency, which, it's a thing. It happens. Come on. Also, I'm not sure if anybody can really tell the colors just because with the silk, I believe it's a mulberry. I forget. No, silk silver. Yeah. It was silk silver, the little white specks in here. And then the purple and blackish gray, more like a charcoal color, is probably the merino, which is the majority of the yarn. Majority of the fiber in the yarn in here. Come on. And let me just check, but I'm pretty sure it should be 17 here. 5, 10, 15. Yep. So let me then do my 2 rounds of stocking up and start decreasing. Yeah. Ah, come on. Also, that kind of getting in my way just a wee bit. Yeah, I've definitely got a little bit tight in some places. That should hopefully still stretch enough. So one of my arrow socks, I think I'm gonna have to replace the heel. Well, not even I think. More than likely, I'm probably gonna have to replace the heel. It's accidentally tore into it. I think I stepped on something in the hallway. Metallic that ripped into the heel, or at least a thin part of the yarn in the heel. So, gonna have to do an afterthought heel on that, but that should not be an issue. Which, if I'd set that up, I probably would have done that on stream today. Although, given that's a colorwork sock, I'll have to obviously take up the parts that rip out really quickly, just to avoid, you know, me losing a stitch. Which, that's the annoying part about, you know, having to fix things in colorwork socks. Just because if you drop something somewhere, that's going to create a whole bunch of issues. Come on. Almost there. And now, time to start decreasing. Da-da-da-da. Come on. There we go. Decrease this side, and then decrease on the other side. So basically, now I'm gonna decrease until I hit 9 stitches, which is how much I started with. And then we will get ourselves a hexagon, which will need to be stuffed and all that. That's the easy part. So it should not take me terribly long to get that done. Come on. Alright, so... Creative, hello. How you doing? How goes your Saturday? Because it's 3 a.m. for you. Also, I cannot see what the heck that is right now. Ah! Come on. Oh, I would hope if I close that, that would probably help. Hi! How you doing? I'm here making Hexipuff. That was me. I put that in a basic Chinese. I know like a tiny bit. I want to get back into that. I took it during college, so you know, ni hao, sisi, so on and so forth. Lao Sima. Oh, nice. Yeah, very basic. I took 3 semesters. I could speak it more better than I could, you know, write it personally. But again, it's been a while, so I'm gonna have to see if I can get back on the horse with that. Mediocre. Yay! Not just me! The funny thing is, Chinese is a lot more work than Spanish, that's what my dad wanted me to do, and I'm just like, nah, I don't feel Spanish. Which, nothing against the language whatsoever, it's just more of, it wasn't clicking for me. I need to definitely click a bit more. Again, it was a lot more goddamn work. I definitely clicked in my brain a lot better. Remember, yeah, there's a whole order of strokes. I still have my books for when I was doing that in college, so I can literally revisit those if I want to. Not bad so far. Honestly, I've not been up to terribly much. I was catching up on some stuff pre-stream. Basically, sub-squares, because I'm plenty behind on those. Made one of these, which eventually this will be like a small blanket. So, small Hexipuff, which this is number 20, number 21, what I'm currently working on. I think I should have at least 10 more, where I don't have to repeat colors. But yeah, these are all stuff with a little bit of polyfill, and basically they're gonna get sewn together. This is like a small do as I will sort of project, and this is all sock yarn, or about sock weight. Because, you know, the hand spun that I spin tends to be a little bit thick, so arguably closer to DK rather than sock weight. Well, no, closer to sport rather than sock weight in thickness. I have a couple, like 2 projects that are probably going to be off stream for a wee bit. Although one of them, the yarn's kind of tangled in places, so I kind of need to get that out of there. One of them being a sweater. The other being a shawl. But that shawl is very chart heavy. Which, you know, trying to deal with charts and stuff while streaming tends to be a wee bit difficult. Let's see. I should be, I count 5, 10. Alright, cool. No worries, and you're welcome. I like being able to follow fellow artists. Which, yeah, I think I gotta check out some of her stuff. I might go back and check on more of that. It's just, I tend to not scroll on Instagram terribly long. So I try not to do too much screen time or else, you know, strains my eyes, gives me a headache, and so on. Okay, there. I just tend to post my stuff, like a few things, and then wander off. Which, this is how I didn't notice the whole, not lockdown. What's the word I'm looking for? Basically the crash on, you know, Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp. Because, A, don't use Facebook, don't use WhatsApp. Instagram's the only one out of those 3 that I use, and given I'm only on there like a little bit on the evenings, I did not even notice until someone had mentioned the day after, and I was just like, nope. I had no clue. Alright, let's see. 5, 10. Yay! I mean, yeah, that makes sense for communication purposes. Because I know stuff like that is a lot easier to use than, say, what's its face? Having to call in text. Because cell phone service fees are terrible. Yeah, no, I don't even have mine anymore. It does not exist. I don't care. I hadn't used it in years, so it was a waste of my time and a waste of my phone space, so yeah. Alright. So once I finish this round, I'm gonna actually go and take a break. I don't have terribly much to go on this one. Before I put this aside and then switch over to spinning for probably the rest of the stream. I'll probably, yeah, I figured. Cause yeah, it is ridiculously early. And I very much appreciate you popping in here, despite the time. Because honestly, it's highly flattering for anybody to be like, hey, it is 3:30. I know what I'll do. Come watch somebody. And hold a sort of conversation. But yeah, we're almost there. Like 4... Let's see now. Decrease, do the 2, decrease, and then... Yeah, about 6 rounds left, so... Not terribly much, but I just want to get up and stretch and also probably have some water. Oh yeah, also put my cup that previously had tea in it probably in the sink. So I definitely need to go and do all those things. Although let me check my Amazon package before I get up here. It's probably haven't made any progress. Yep, slowly getting here. Oh no. Damn it. Now it says it's 3:30, 7:30. They must have hit traffic. Damn it. They added 45 minutes. Oh well. I was just blabbing about that before, but I got like a couple of things. Mainly just necessity things. Envelopes for small things like to send out stickers, because I got some stamps the other day for that. I had just needed envelopes. And then auxiliary cords for my over-the-ears headphones, and then some chargers for my phone. That's about it. But yeah, I'm gonna go do the things in the stretch. Enjoy your sleep, creative. I'm glad to see you, as always. And I will be back in about usual 10 minutes. Totally feel free to play the Plinko or the drop game. Yeah, Plinko or the drop game, which drop games on a variety of streams, and just like nuts that slightly. Hi, anybody who showed up during the break. Hello, Puplo. I'm here making a Hexipuff. Almost done with this one. Yeah, it was 6 more rounds I needed. Which, Hexipuff, I mean this. So, I think hexagon in the round, stuffed with a bit of polyfill. Which these will eventually be sewn together. I say these, but because there are 19 more of these hanging out in a plastic bag. Which this will eventually be a nice me-sized quilt. Which, that's gonna be a while. But this is one of those long-term, I can do the thing sort of projects. And annoying email, please get off of my screen. Thank you. Well, this is one of those do it whenever I feel like it sort of projects. I don't plan on being like huge, but enough of a size for a personal blanket. I suspect I'll probably need to get more polyfill at some point, which, given how long I've had that bag of polyfill, which it was a pound. It's basically going to take a while, so the fact that I'm actually making more than a dent in it is very good. Although I think I've used the majority of that polyfill in keychains and things of that sort. Decreasing. Come on. There we are. Also, probably gonna see about watching more Only Murders in the Building after stream today. So I want to catch up before the season finale, which will be next week Tuesday, so the 19th. I have a couple more days. I'm at like the start of episode 4, so 4, 5, 6, 7. Stacy! Hi! Also, throw out a color for a sub square, because you had got gifted a sub, so I'll need you to tell me whatever color you want for a sub square. Also, how's work day? Blue. Okay, cool. Thank you. This was from like Saturday, but I figured I'd wait until, you know, you pop in here. Because I know you're usually busy, so didn't want to bother you. So I am like finishing up this Hexipuff here, and then probably gonna be spinning flute for the rest of the stream. Since I don't usually do Hexipuffs on stream, so I was like, let me actually do one of these. Yay! That is a surprise for a Friday. Fridays and Mondays, at least from what I know of a friend of mine, typically are the days where it's like madness and chaos are more than likely to ensue. Also, yeah. It's honestly not difficult, and you could just probably get a couple of these done and then cat toys ensue. Everyone is tired, so they're leaving me alone. Ugh. I mean, given the whole, hey, it's the 50th and you had to deal with all that, I imagine everyone's just like, can this be over now? Alright, did I? Yeah. And then after this, it should be last decrease round. 2 more stockinette rounds. I'll probably stuff it. I'll probably do the Kitchener bit off stream just because I don't feel like doing it again. Christmas and you. Oh, yeah. You had mentioned that. That makes sense. There are also things you gotta plan for all the crazy. I was like, oh yeah, Christmas. That thing. And I love everyone just like skips Thanksgiving, which commercials do that too, you notice. It's like once Halloween's done, it's like straight to Christmas. Because they already have, you know, the Christmas stuff in the stores. So it makes sense that they're like, once Halloween's done, it's like, let's get this stuff out of here. Has to be up by Thanksgiving. Well, given Giant Park Place, it makes sense. Also, I always forget which one it is. What is it? Disney? Yeah, I think it's Disney World for down there. Disneyland in California? Because I know I use them both interchangeably, but it's like sometimes I get confused and it's like, no, there is a difference between the two. Oh, yay! Where's the thing? Because I got GiftBot to cooperate. Nope. How about if I actually put an exclamation point? That would actually help. Which I finally fixed that. Because I think I had the screen thing the wrong size, which is why they were showing off down on the corner. So that was user error. Oh well. But at least they work now. Also, I was supposed to decrease. Let me take these couple of stitches. Also, how's the shawl coming? I mean, I doubt you've gotten anywhere since you were last on yesterday. Although, I easily could be wrong. I imagine you have not had time between then and now. On the last section of Clue 1, got 5 I-cord loops? Also, I've never done a mystery anything, whether it be knit or... Yep. Yeah, come on. Alright, yeah, just about decrease, so I'm gonna do these last 2 rounds of stockinette, stuff this guy and put it to the corner, which I'm probably gonna take a short little intermission to go shove some stuff downstairs. And then switch over to spinning. Yeah, I was like, I-cord loops? I don't think I've ever heard of I-cord loops. So it's like literally a whole thing of I-cord in when paired with Clue 2. Huh. I peeked this one. Has Clue 2 already dropped, or are there hints that have already been published with that? Ah, come on. Drop today. Ooh. That should be fun and interesting, but yeah, I-cord loops definitely throwing me for a loop. I don't think I've ever heard that terminology in my life. Come on. How to do a spoiler of what Clue looks like at the end of the... Ah! Which, that's actually a good thing, so it's like... people have an idea of what to look forward to next, but it's like not completely ruined of what you're gonna actually be doing. So that makes complete sense. Also, I think that's also kind of why I've never really done knit along, just like going along blind. Not something I really enjoy. Alright, time to stuff this. I just have a chunk of polyfill sitting over there and not a huge chunk, but large enough. Alright, and I'd say, yeah, a little bit more. Because I feel a little gap. I'm not trying to overstuff. I don't want there to be like, you know, too much of a gap in places. Because there's a couple of these I've probably overstuffed a little bit. Okay, there we go. It has now gotten to squishy proportions. I did not pick up my scissors. Oops. They're over there somewhere. I just forgot to pick them up so I can cut the end. I said that to myself earlier too when I went to go get the needles, and I completely forgot anyway. Because of course I did. Alright, I'm gonna throw the Be Right Back screen on. I'll be back probably like 5 minutes or less because I just need to go shove some stuff downstairs. And then just gonna switch up scenes up here to do some flute spinning. But yeah, I'll be back. Yeah, that's what I thought. So, let's move this up a little bit. Get this all in frame also. I need to tweak the saturation just a wee bit. Ba-da-da-da-da. Let's see, saturation over here. I'm trying not to have it too high. Okay, that's good enough, I think. Alright, otherwise we should be good. Have my foot pedal plugged in. Let's see. And, oh, okay. About there should be fine. Let's turn this on. I think I just did. And, oh, the bowl. Don't tell me this thing is. Oh, hold on. Let's see. Don't tell me I accidentally left this on or some shit. No? Okay, then I might have just turned it the other way. Because I'm like, I know I haven't used it since the last time I was streaming. I have to flip the battery over the other way. I'm about to be real worried I was gonna need to charge that. There's still a bit more of this I'm gonna need to spin. Not terribly much more, but to a degree, can't wait to be done with this, but at the same time, I have a feeling this is probably gonna go in the half granny square shawl. Because I put, what is that Corydale, that I'd say lavender-ish purple in there, which I might take that out. Because I feel like that doesn't work with the other purple in there, just because that other purple has a warm tone to it, so they contrast a little bit. But not in a way I really like. Also, yeah, this is not really having much tension, is it? Because it pulls out easily, so I might have to up the tension just a wee bit. And hello? Yeah, because I upped the tension, that means I have to up that. Else it's not going to really get anywhere. Although it might be a little too high. Also trying to remember that this is supposed to be a little bit thicker than what I normally spin. But my hands are definitely going to, you know, default to what I'm used to spinning at thickness-wise. Alright. There wasn't much left of that piece. I made sure to pull out the last piece of this strip. Which, let me, while I'm sitting here, let's see, should I pull this in? No, yeah. This is gonna probably be the last strip of this, actually, now that I think about it. Because it makes no real sense to rip this in half terribly much. Because I remember at least one of these strips was really thin. So. And also, you can see like this giant thing of locks here. This I'm going to be doing off stream just because I'm going to have to sit there and like draft for a while to get it to cooperate with me. Down a little bit, because I turned the tension down a little bit. long, so I'd move the hook. Did I move the hook enough? That's the question here. But yeah, given that's going to be the last strip, I'm guessing this should be done soonish. Probably not today on stream, but I'd say maybe. If not this weekend, sometime in the beginning of next week, we will see. Also, probably at least a little bit of this will end up in the Hexipuff blanket. So it would feel wrong to not use this in there. And okay, yeah, right here, so we're fine. We're fine. Come on. And I'm gonna go check the status of my goddamn package. Okay, it's gotten a wee bit closer. It still says 3:30 to 7:30, so definitely gonna show up after stream. I don't need it immediately, so that's completely fine. There it is. Trying to not drift. You been watching any shows lately, Stacy? I imagine yours are definitely of the MCU variety. Come on, there it is. Come on. Come on, I need you to draft a little bit. I think I might turn down the spinning a little bit, because it's kind of pulling out of my hand, also twisting a little too fast for me. Do-do-do-do-do. There it is. Also, I was pondering potentially putting a goal on the Ko-fi page for, you know, wholesale stuff and shipping. Because given I bought a thing of 50 envelopes, I more than likely am gonna need to get likely at least 1 or 2 more things of stamps, which that'll probably put me in the ballpark of like $20 or so for postage, because I just get the forever stamps just to make life easier. Alright, and there it is. A little bit more, and then I'll probably need to move this hook again. Oh, so I'm definitely drafting a wee bit thin in spots here. Thinner than what I want is probably the better way to put it. I'm trying to be at least a little bit mindful of how thick I want it. It is sunny. Why does it look... Oh wait, the gain's down a little bit. Couldn't have it all the way up. Properties. Let me fix that. Okay, even with that, it still looks a little bit dark. It's weird. Although, it still should be visible, so... Not sure why. Although most likely it's just because of the angle of where I am. Which I really do hate when that happens. Oh, so I did say a little bit more, and I'll need to move the hook. I honestly cannot wait to be done with this, so I could start spinning the one with, I think it's mulberry silk. Yeah, mulberry silk that I have. That's gonna be stock yarn. Given I haven't spun anything silk related in a while. I mean, this has, you know, silk noil in there, but this does not have, you know, the same sort of thing like a braid would, where it's like evenly throughout the entirety of the fiber. Plus, that'll mean I'll probably have to test the speed out on this thing a little bit, because this will probably be one of those that I use is closer to a 3. Plus I have a braid that's 40% silk in there, which I suspect that'll make things a little bit slippery when I start spinning that. Also, looks like time to start moving this hook again. Covered in sparkles and tinsel. My favorite. Although, I imagine when I'm using this yarn, bits of tinsel are gonna come off on me. Which will be equal parts hilarious yet annoying. Because it's gonna be like the gift that keeps on giving. Also, whoops. Come on. Draft that look. Yep. I meant to get rid of this one. This one's very talky. Where is it? Which one's on? Sound of the day. Alright, cool. I meant to do that, but I can keep forgetting to actually do that. Alright, I'm probably gonna grab my light from here. Just because it's a little bit dark to my liking. Whee! Oh well. Really? Oh, I did it. And now it's gonna make it a little too bright. Because it's visible here, it's just the rest there that feels a little bit dark. That would be why. Because the light was not on the first one, it was on the second one. Which is usually a little bit too much. Alright, let's change this again. Yep, I don't need to get rid of this too. That's a pain. Also, in regards to the envelopes, I realized I need to poke somebody else for their address so I could send them their sticker. Which I think they got the holographic one. Which those I have a lot more of. So it's probably going to be a while before those run out, I suspect. Also, this stuff is slippery, so I'm trying to get as much twist as I can in here. This stuff is a pain. I like it, but it's just slipperiness of this makes playing very much an annoyance to me. Especially when it's on its own. When it's with something else, it makes it less of an issue. Oh, you can actually see my hands somewhat in this. Probably because I have this camera on pretty high. This is quite a bit of bright green. Alright. Do I want to move this hook? Yeah. I'd say moving this hook is probably a good idea. I don't think I'll... Well, actually, I could be wrong given the bit of... Not silk, but... the locks of wool. Which, given that's a good chunk of locks, I'll probably... Whoops. And that slipped off. Literally almost broke. I literally just felt it slip and I was just like, how the hell that happened? This might be the fox cashmere that's listed in here. That's the only thing I could think of out of the list of fiber that's really going to be pretty slippery. Yeah, come on. There we go. Come on. Also, thankfully the light's not washing out the color terribly much. It's a good thing I upped the saturation a bit. And I feel... tiny bit of fluff on my nose. Also, we're actually about 30 follows from getting to 1K. I just happened to notice. So we are slowly but surely getting there. Again, not sure what I'll be doing for that. I might just give away one of my donut pins for that, because those are hanging out there. Come on, come on, come on, come on. There it is. Also, we're slowly but surely getting to near the end of this piece already. That would take me longer, but given I'm trying to spin it thicker, it would make sense. I'm covered in glitter. Well, closest thing to glitter and yarn. Alright, just a little bit more and then I will be taking my second break, which I cannot believe I'm saying that already. It's like, it can't have been 2 hours. Oh yes it can. It really sneaks up on you a lot more than one would expect it to sometimes. I noticed it a little bit more. I'm like still spinning, but it's like, eh. As long as I don't finish this piece in my hand, I should be fine. I did not think I'd get through this piece as quickly as I had. Which, if I do manage to, you know, finish spinning, I might switch over to the other thing I want to spin. So, you'll see. More than likely not going to happen, but doesn't hurt to make extra plans just in case. And there we go. So this is enough weight to hold itself there, so we're fine in that category. So I am just gonna do the usual get up and stretch and have some water, and I will be back in about 10 minutes, and then I'm gonna be continuing on spinning, which, dear man, this green is the brightest thing as heck. Although, yeah, can't see it as well, but can't be helped right now. Be back 10 minutes. Still, feel free to play the Plinko game, or, you know, get up and stretch, or not much to report. Things still taking about the same amount of time to get here. So, yeah, if it hasn't gotten to the hey, it's 10 stops away thing, so I suspect it's not gonna hit here until about 4 or 5, which, that's fine. Alright, so give a hint. This is how much of this is left. I could split this piece. Oh, actually, this is not that long of a piece, so yeah, I might have to start using the other bits here, which will mean me drafting for a while before I even get to spinning them. Oh well. Also, I think this is the first time I might have seen a bit of white in one of these, because mostly like dark brown I've gotten in the way of locks here. Ta-da! Alright, so gonna finish this piece, although let me actually just sit here and at least start pre-drafting a little bit of this. Which again, this is gonna take a while, because this stuff is very stubborn. Come on. Like with this, I really have to tear it to get it to any sort of draftable state. Which I suspect is probably the same way those like colored blocks of wool, like, because I suspect this is probably just, you know, the natural color of the Leicester wool here. But you know, those dyed blocks that get sold on Etsy. I imagine this is probably about the same amount of work it would take to get that to do what I want it to do. Which, at this point, I would probably consider even like maybe considering having some like blending board for this sort of thing if you're doing it on a regular basis. Also, I know you can't see what I'm doing, just drafting this stuff, so I don't have to sit here and do that as much, because it's not going to take me that long to get through this piece that I have here. Like, this is not a lot, especially if I'm spinning thicker than my normal. Because, you know, the thinner you go, the longer it's going to take to spin yarn. So, almost there. Alright. They're still a little bit drafted, but come on. And then there's this little piece here. I'm not really used to having to pre-draft this much to get it to do what I want. It certainly makes me appreciate having the finished thing if you gotta go do this like 15 times just to get it to some semblance of spinnable. And honestly, 15 might be a low number. There we go. Alright, so let me go back to spinning this bit here. Mm-hmm. I have to say, this is probably the most prominent color-wise yarn that I've personally ever spun. Also, oh yeah, I forgot I'll have to update the damn laptop once I'm finished today. Crap, I forgot. I would have done it before stream, but I wasn't sure how long it's going to take, because it looks like at least a couple of updates, given the whole Windows 11, which I'm not sure if that's Windows 11. Might be. I hope not. Because it sounds like it's been causing some programs to, like, you know, crash, and it's kind of annoying sounding. Almost there. Like I said, this was not going to take terribly long. Also, I've not been keeping track. I think I should be fine on the moving the hook portion of this. Because also a thing I tend to not always be great at noticing. Cashews. Plus, you know, having fiber in my face is gonna make me want to cough too. Especially given the natural stuff has a bit of like vegetable. What's the word? Like material you don't want in the yarn. So like hay and that sort of stuff. I was about to call it Vegemite and I'm like, no, that's not the word for it. That is freaking thing that they have in, I think in, no, that's Marmite. Yeah, might be Vegemite. Although I think there's a brand of Marmite called Vegemite. I don't know. But yeah, vegetable matter, essentially. But you tend to get that more with, you know, I feel like locks sometimes tend to have it in there. But it's like if you're have fully processed yarn, typically you tend to not get much of that. And come on, almost there. Yeah, that should be about enough. And then, yeah, also time to move the hook anyway. And start going at this stuff here. Okay, yeah, that should draft. Which, yeah, there's obviously a lot of a contrast between this and the seriously bright pops of color that come in this yarn. Well, fiber, rather. Which is exactly the point, to highlight them all equally. Nope, come on. You can do it. Okay, we've gotten to a little bit of a clump here, so let me just quickly get at that. Alright, cool. We just needed a tiny bit more drafting. Ah, come on. Yeah, it's separated because I tugged a little bit too hard. So that's a bit of a knot. Come on, please stick. Da, 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 da. Oh, crap. I need to stop getting that caught in there. Sorry, paying a bit of attention given this stuff. I get very troublesome in spots. Come on. Alright, yeah, we've gotten to a need to draft portion again. Come on. Just gonna lead a bit more. Alright, there we go. Yeah, come on. Oh. There it is. What we're twisting on this. Come on. There it is. Okay, a little bit more draft. A bit. Come on. I know you can't see what I'm doing, but I really have to like fiddle with this stuff to get it to yield. Oops. Pulled that apart accidentally. Alright, let's get that. Come on. Just a little bit. Sorry, I'm not terribly chatty today. I don't know, I just don't have a ton to work with in the way of chatting about things. Although I think this might also be a little bit of a balance compared to Tuesday where I talked so much my voice kind of got tired. Like, I could literally feel the strain in my throat, which is not something that happens terribly often. So I chattered on about books and stuff, which is usually a good way to get me to talk forever and ever and ever. Okay, how far are we? Oh, almost there through this piece, for the most part. There's more than this, which is why I wanted to do this instead of working through the other bits. Figure it would take at least a good chunk, if not a majority, of the last hour just to get through these natural bit of locks. Although it's certainly taking a lot less time than the first time I tried to use this, just because I had no idea what the hell I was doing at that point, so I'm not sure how much draft I needed to get it to cooperate. Which turns out the answer is a lot. Is there? Oh, that's getting too much twist. Uh-oh. Yeah. I was not paying attention. Oopsie. Let me draft this little piece, which this piece was in with the rest of it that came off, so I was like, let me just get to that later. Which later is now. Now. Come on. Gonna need to get another lock and do the same thing over. This is not gonna take terribly much time. Oh, so you can see the sparkly stuff commingling with this, which makes it a bit more fun. Alright, stop here. Oh, we've got a bit of that stuff done there. And there it is. Okay, so that was the majority of what that was. Alright, time to start tearing at this bit here. There. Which, for anybody who's not familiar with spinning, I'm basically pre-drafting this, which I have to pre-draft a lot to get it to do the thing. Come on. That's a bit that needs to get torn apart. Trying to get at any problem areas. There. That's one piece. Oh, so I realized I was watching Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century on YouTube. They were showing the episodes out of order. Not all of them, but like several of them were out of order. Which, there's worse things. You don't really have terribly much. Plus, it was only 2 seasons that show had, apparently. An animated kids show, makes sense. Especially animated kids show about Sherlock Holmes getting brought to the future. Is this gonna... Yeah, this is not really gonna... Trying to hold this not terribly close to my face or else it's gonna make me start sneezing. Got all the residual stuff in there, which you can kind of see is dropping on here as I draft. These bits here. Alright, that should be... Actually, let me take care of this bit. Should be well enough for this. And then last piece here. It really does take a little bit to get it to conform. Come on. Bits of this. Right here. Let's see how that goes. Here. Also, I'm guessing the stuff I feel in here is like lanolin. I always feel like a bit of residue going on here. That's natural oil that shapes tend to secrete. Alright, I think we should be pretty much good on the rest of these pieces. I think. There we go. Alright, so let's get started with this piece here. Now that we're done with that finally. Oh wow, that took like 10 minutes. But again, should not be that surprised. Alright. It's kind of almost a similar process from when I was respinning some of like the early wool that I had spun because I hadn't set the twist on it, so I had to like pre-draft it. Although there were like little spaces here and there in there, or it's like it all pretty much felted, so there was no pre-drafting it or drafting period. Oh, an interesting process. But yeah, as you can see now that I've gotten it to pre-draft properly, the actual spinning portion of this does not take terribly long. Alright. Oops. There we go. Almost there. Also, I'm probably gonna need to move the hook soon enough, because I've not been paying attention to that either. Yeah, probably about now is a good time for me to move this hook up anyway. Run up the edge here, and then get that second piece of stuff I drafted. Also, I'm gonna have to wash my hands afterwards because you can feel the stuff here. It's annoying. Alright, and oops, nope, didn't mean to do that. There we are. Are we? No, we are not 10 stops away yet. Damn it. Come on. Alright. Oh yeah, this is at 2. So that's why it feels like this is going a wee bit fast. Also, I don't think I'd mentioned this on stream since finishing, but I do have a couple of wallpapers on my Ko-fi shop, which you should be able to get at on the panels and also on the Linktree link, which you should be able to get that by doing !follow, and the link should pop up there. But for anybody who happens to sub to the channel and has their sub connected, you'll be able to find these wallpapers in the Discord, because there is a sub-only section that I have visible to subs and my mods. I'm pretty sure all my mods are subbed anyway, so it's like, it works either way, even if they weren't, given that they help me out. I figure it's the least they can do. But yeah, a couple of digital wallpapers, like 4 at the moment. I'm gonna see if by the end of this month I can get it to like 5, if not 6. We will see. I'm not sure, given I have a bunch of stuff to do, like finishing sock, potentially having another sock commission to do, and it's just like thing upon thing upon thing, which, you know, commissions are not bad, it just means I don't have time to do other things. Because, you know, there's only so many hours in the day to do stuff. Alright. And alright, last piece here. And then we will get back to the pretty sparkly stuff. Also, yeah. Might, after this bit, if not during this bit, I'll probably need to move the hook again, I suspect. It's funny, I said I was not gonna finish this today, and it looks like I might. Which that was not what I planned, but at least spinning the singles for this, so. There's that at least. Come on. Yeah, this stuff definitely is gonna make my allergies not cooperate with me. And literally throw my throat itch slightly. All the stuff coming out of here. Which also means this covering that I'm using, I am probably gonna have to clean that out a little bit, so that is a thing. Come on. Let's see. I think I might need to move the hook right about now, actually. Alright. Yeah. Now's about the time I should move this. I think this is going to be probably the most annoying of all 3 parts. Given this, I had the most issue getting to pre-draft suitably. Oops, come on. Come on. Please cooperate. Yeah, a little too much twisting it up in there. Alright, so now we are at the end of the locks, so let me go and get... Yeah, let me just keep the rest of this on here, it's fine. And see how far we can get. I have like 5 minutes, I could do a wee bit of overtime. Depending on how much and how far I need to go with this. But yeah, you can really feel the difference between the process stuff and the locks. Just the residue alone, which I am not fond of the residue. Right, and I dropped a wee bit thin, didn't I? Yes, I did. Oops. There are worse things, though, I suppose. And there's a little bit more slippery fiber I see coming along in here. Also, let's turn this down now that I'm not dealing with the other stuff. Come on. Ah! Oops. There we are. Yeah, we're pretty close to that slippery bit already. Oh yeah, just a little bit of dressing. Do, 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 do. Come on. I might do a wee bit of overtime, at most 5 to 10 minutes. I don't think I'll finish, but I will certainly be close enough. I could finish this offline and then see about getting stuff ready to start applying. Alright. Oh yeah, I should have moved my hook a little bit ago. Oh well. Slippery stuff is going to want to be spun at least a little bit thinner. Although, given this is with some other stuff, hopefully it should even itself out. So the two start to separate. That's great. The way this is, that definitely means the whole thing's not going to be uniform, but it's fine. Come on. A little bit of a twist. Come on. Yeah, there's definitely a bit more of this residue on here. I guess that's regular male people. Yeah, that must be the regular male. Because I heard the gate. Although you guys probably wouldn't hear it. When I get this mostly done. But I'll be fine if I don't for today. Which, at this rate, I might come back with a bit more of this tomorrow. This and maybe some sub-squares. Again, I need to work on those. Even I did work on those today. I just need to work on those some more because it's a bit of a backlog. Alright. Yeah, just a little bit more. So I could probably stand to move the hook though. Maybe. Doubt I'll make it all the way to the back again, which, that is neither here nor there. I have no clue what this fiber is. Because there is a good chunk of stuff that I have never spun before in this Batt, so it has certainly been a learning process. Do. Nope. No, don't do that. Yeah, it's definitely nice to be done with the locks portion of this thing, just because it was a tiny bit of a pain. Alright, and we're almost done with the slippery stuff, which I think that might be the last bit of at least that. Also, oh wow, that was really thin. Oops. I was not paying attention to that bit. Oh well. That should hopefully be fine in the applying process. I'm probably just going to do applying ball this time around if I remember to do so. Alright, so that, yeah, that should suffice. This is what we have left here. This is not a ton, so I could leave that for tomorrow. Yeah, I need to wash my hands because stuff, lanolin from the natural stuff is on my hands and I could feel it and it bugs me. But yeah, we are actually pretty close to finishing the rest of this bat here, and then, again, we'll have to make a ply ball and then do some chain plying. Because I'm not going to 4-ply like I did this stuff here on the bottom left corner, because I didn't feel like separating it into 4 parts. So, meh. Anyhows, there, I have a face again. Also, I could turn off the light finally. Yay! That is helpful. I do want to thank you guys for hanging out with me. Hopefully you enjoyed me doing the blue spinning. Also, I appreciate the follows that happened off stream yesterday. Very much appreciate it. I'll be back again tomorrow. Again, probably spinning the rest of this floof. And then, not sure what else. Although, again, I'm not exactly lacking options. More than likely, I might do sub-squares. We'll see. Am I gonna host anybody? I don't know. Yeah, I don't think I'm gonna host anybody today, so you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and I will see you guys again soon. And if you're not here Saturday, enjoy your weekend. Bye.